Hey, what's going on, True Blazer fans? It's Tori and welcome back to another Monday mailbag. Before I jump into this video, make sure to go down below and ask me a question for next week's Monday mailbag if you have one. Also, on Saturday or Sunday, I will post in the community tab and I will ask you guys for your questions as well so more people can see that right before the video drops so I can maybe get a few more. Because we had a ton of questions last week, I couldn't get to them all, and then we had 900 views on this video this week, but we only had a few questions, so this is going to be a little bit of a shorter video. Make sure to follow the channel on Twitter at TrueBlazerFan and follow me as well. I want to get my Twitter game up and only you can help with that, so make sure to leave me a follow at ToryJonesYT. With all that being said, let's jump into your questions from the past week. Dylan Block says, can we talk about how much the new paper straws suck and how overpriced the food is at the Rose Garden? Now, I have not ordered a drink at the Rose Garden the 2 times that I've been there this season. They have paper straws now? How is that even possible? How do you put paper in a liquid and the paper stays in its shape? It doesn't get soggy, doesn't get messed up. Like, how is a paper straw possible? In regards to how overpriced the food is, yes, it's absolutely terrible, and there's been a couple of NFL franchises that have actually cut their prices in half, maybe even more, and they've actually seen more profit from their concessions. Now, I don't know what the Blazers market analysis looks like, but I feel like it's wrong, because somebody like me, if I go to a stadium, I'm not buying a single thing. If they cut their prices in half, I'd get a burger, I'd get a drink, I'd enjoy myself, I'd actually get some of the food there. The food is good, the prices are awful. I think the Seahawks might have cut their prices, and of course, you know, Paul Allen owned them, and Chris McGowan is connected with them as well. So I don't know what it is. I don't know why they don't experiment and cut their prices and see what they'd make off of it. Malcolm Bunyoli says, don't you just hate how players don't even want to give Portland a chance, and we have to pick up all the scraps unless we trade or draft like CJ and Dame? If they were drafted by the Lakers, I don't think they'd want to come to Portland in free agency. And yeah, it sucks, but that's just the life of a small market. I mean, you get a guy like Anthony Davis and he'd be fine being traded to the Knicks. He says he'd sign an extension there, but Portland isn't on that list. Oklahoma City isn't on that list either. Denver isn't even on that list. Now, good by him, because he did have one small market. He had Milwaukee, but they got the Greek Freak and they're the best team in the Eastern Conference right now. I guess that's what it takes, being the best team in a conference to be able to actually have a star player want to come here. Now, we do have guys like Rodney Hood who are excited to come here, so at least we have that. But man, like Anthony Davis, dude. If you were with Dame and with Nurkic somehow, that team would be an absolute contender. That'd be better than the Knicks. That'd be better than the Lakers if they traded their entire team for you. Like, I don't understand why star players specifically are so averse to coming to Portland, but at least we have guys here right now, star players, that fully embrace the city. We definitely shouldn't take that for granted. Mad Max 1307 says, multiple questions on multiple topics. So the first one he is asking me is Mike and Mike or Kevin and Lamar. Honestly, at this point, I probably give a slight edge to Kevin and Lamar. I think they're just better broadcasters. I miss Mike and Mike, but Kevin Calabro is a good broadcaster. Lamar Hurd has gotten a lot better, provides a lot more insight into the game, provides a lot of insight that I actually see that Mike Rice wouldn't really provide when he was the color commentator. So I do like Lamar Hurd and Kevin Calabro. And I'm not going to put up the question each time that I answer a part of it. I'm just going to keep going. He says, what do you think is the cause for the odd stats with the score at the end of the third quarter and the end of games? Of course, he's talking about how we haven't lost a game if we're leading going into the fourth quarter, and we haven't won a game if we're losing going into the fourth quarter. And I don't think anything's causing that. I think that's just a very fluky, rare coincidence. If it happens again tomorrow, then we will tie the record for that sort of thing. I don't think it's our mentality or anything. I think if there is a reason that's caused by us, it's most likely due to the offense struggling against pressure, our sets bogging down against pressure. When we're up, we don't really seem to have that issue. We play more relaxed, we just hunt for good shots. When we're down, we kind of succumb to that pressure, and we also play a lot of hero ball when we're losing, so I think it might be Dame and CJ shooting very tough shots to try and get us back into a game, and they're the type of shots that have a very small chance chance of going in, so it's not a winning comeback formula. That would be my best guess if it's not simply just a coincidence. Last part, he says, finally, how would you structure the league to make it more competitive and have more parity? Honestly, I think the best structure would be to have a hard cap, and I know NBA players don't want to go for this because it limits their earning potential, but if you make the hard cap high enough, then I think you would have enough room, enough salary to go around so that NBA players weren't making less than they are right now, and then have some sort of arbitration panel that makes it so that the top 5 players in the league make 50% of the hard cap. If the hard cap is 150 million, those guys will be making $75 million a year. And I know that sounds insane, but you'd have another $75 million to go around to the rest of your role players. I don't know exactly what the numbers would be, but you could structure it in a way where the top 5 players make a ton of money, but then the role players still make the same amount. You get rid of the luxury tax, so owners will save a little bit of money from that to pay towards more salaries. And if you have the top 5 players making 50% of the hard cap, you can't go over a hard cap, so you could not have 2 top 5 players on the same team making max contracts. If you didn't sign them to a full 50%, they would only be allowed to make 30% or something like that, so they wouldn't really want to take that big of a pay cut. Players 6 through 10, maybe have them make 40 or 45%. Work something like that in that sort of structure. That way it would make it very difficult to set up 2 top 10 NBA players together, and if you wanted to do so, you'd either have to have nobody else solid on your team, or one of the stars would have to take a big enough pay cut to pay the rest of the role players. I think you could come up with a structure like that that works well for the owners, that works well for the players, and most importantly, helps parity in the league. So that's all the questions you guys had for me this week, so make sure to go ask one down below, or wait until I post in that community tab and then ask a question on that. Of course, I do expect a lot of questions about Rodney Hood, about players that we might trade for in the next couple of days, and I welcome those. I put out a Rodney Hood video, and I will put out a video on anybody we trade for, but if you have any questions that I didn't address in those videos, make sure to leave them down below. So with all that being said, I'm out of here. I hope you true Blazer fans have a good week. See you later. Go Blazers.